Today we're going to create a decimal value mat, and the number that we're going to use today is going to be less than 2, so 2 is greater than the number we're going to use, and that number is going to be greater than 1. And we're going to use our 10-sided dice to create a number today that is going to be different for each person. Alright, so the first thing I want to do is, because our number is between 2 and 1, we're going to make sure we only have one 1. So I want you to colour, you're going to take your red twistable, and you're going to colour this whole red area in right here. You can use a marker for this, you can use a twistable for this, you could use a pencil for this. And if it takes you a little longer than it's taking me, remember that you can pause the video while you kind of catch up. Any of your markers or pens would work for this. Okay, and underneath where we've coloured in the 1, we're going to write in the row 3, we're going to write we've got one group of 1. One group of 1. The reason that we're doing the number between 2 and 1 today is because we want to only colour one of these squares, and I don't want multiple squares. Alright, so now we're going to go on to the 10. So this is where our decimal place would be. And we're going to go on to tens. So I'm going to take my 10-sided dice, and I'm going to roll it to get a random number. My number today is 1. So you would roll your dice and you would get your own random number, and I'm going to colour in the number of tenths that I have that corresponds with the dice. For me it's 1. Now if you have 0, I would like for you to roll the dice again, so you at least have something in this tens block. So if you roll a 0, you're just going to pick the dice up, roll it another time till you get a different number, and then use that number. Okay, so then at the bottom, this time I have 1/10. So I have one group of 1/10. Or I have one group of a tenth. Okay, so go ahead and do your decimal and do your fraction, and then again you can pause the video if you're taking longer than this. Remember that this number right here is how many groups you have. So I have one group of 1/10. I have one group of 1/10. Here I have one group of 1. Okay, now I'm going to go into my hundreds. I'm going to roll my dice again. This time I have 3. So I'm going to do 3 hundredths. This time the square is divided into 100 smaller squares. So I'm going to take the highlighter just because it's easier to see. Use a yellow twistable or yellow marker. And I have 3 groups of 100ths. Okay, so I'm going to, this time it's 3 because remember that first number is how many groups you have. I have 3. And I'm going to say 3 times 100ths, or 3 times 1 over 100. Right, now I'm ready to move on to my thousands. I'm going to roll my dice again. This time I've got 6. Now with the thousands, you can see that we have divided the square. Each of these small squares here has been divided into 10 smaller squares. They're kind of hard to see. So if I have rolled a 6, I want to colour in just 6 of these little lines. And remember, if you roll a 0, I just want you to roll again so that you can get a number. So I have 6 coloured in right here, and 6. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and do my groups again. How many groups do I have? Well, I have 6 groups of 1,000. 1,000. Or I have 6 times 1 over 1,000. Okay, so your mat should look somewhat like this. Now again, remember to pause if you need a little time to catch up. And here's all my groups down here. I've expanded the groups out, but now in row 4, I want to pull everything back in again. So we've got the biggest way of writing it up here, then we're writing it in notation, then we're going to write it lower, and then we're going to put all the numbers together. Okay, so one group of 1 is just 1. Everyone's going to have this the same because remember we only did 1 1, it's between 2 and 1. In the tenths column I have 1/10, so 1 times 1/10 is 1/10. 1 times 1/10 is 1/10. Then I have 3 times 100ths, so I have 3 100ths, or I have 3 100ths. Remember, this number here is going to be the number of groups you have. So whatever your groups are, your number is going to go here. It might be different from mine. And then over here I have 6. So I'm going to do, I've got 6 1,000ths, or I have 6 1,000ths. See. Okay, the last part here is we're going to add all these together. So I have one group of 1. There's my decimal point. And then I have one group of 10s. I have 3 groups of 100ths. And I have 6 groups of 1,000ths. So the number that I made today is 1 and 136 thousandths. Okay, or 1.136. So I'm going to go ahead and create this number down here as the last part of my chart today. So I'm going to color this in. This is my 1. Again, remember, you can be using markers, pencils. And if you need to go back or rewind the video, you can do that. Rewind it or pause it. Okay, so there's my 1. And then the next thing I had one group of 10ths. Whatever you had in yours, you color in orange. So I'm going to color one column. And you can see here, as we're clumping these numbers together now, throwing these numbers together, we have a chart that still looks like our thousands chart. Makes it a little bit easier for you. Okay, so this is going to be one group of 10. And then we're going to have 3 groups of 100, so I'm going to add that in. And then I'm going to go ahead and add my 6 1,000ths. And so that's what my completed number looks like. 1.136.